All right, dope. Well, let's get into it. So, which part are you sort of focusing on at the moment?
Oh,
Which section?
I've been umming and ahhing a lot about the leads and what the actual melody is and shit.
Aha, so the melody part.
Yeah, like as in everything else, because like the thing I sent you was kind of that's like my idea to paper, and I've been going through like because I sent you that last week,
Mhm.
and I've been going through this week, kind of trying to get it all to sound better, like you know what I mean?
Yep.
Um, because obviously all the bits are there, it's just up to all this shit. But um, yeah, I just wasn't sure with the melody, because um, and also we'll do it today maybe if we can or something. But getting the leads sounding proper and stuff, because I've been watching tutorials and shit on YouTube, and they have like their leads, but it's like all the leads are kind of built out like chords, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, that I mean that's the key to getting it sounding
Big.
more open. Because
Yep.
I mean, when you think about it, if you're just playing the same sounds with a different synth and the same melody, it's all kind of overlapping.
Hmm.
Whereas if you structure you like a chord, everything's got its own voice and space in the mix to sit in, so you're going to get a bigger
Yeah.
sound, like
Yep.
because you'll be able to have more openness to the chord. It's just obviously getting those harmonies. It's you're basically like it's like a singer singing a harmony. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah. Yeah.
have
Of
a harmony
course.
line that will go underneath the main sort of riff.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's loop the part that you want to work on. First of all, as well, before we get into it, can you just allow remote control? So if I want to jump in, I can.
Yep.
Cool.
It should. Yep.
Sweet. So that's to make sure it's working. Yep,
Yep.
cool.
You got
That's
it.
me doing that. All right, dope. So let's yeah go into this section that you want to work on, and let's have a look at it.
So it was the one. Yeah. All this. Yeah. Loop. All this stuff. All these ones. I feel like there's so much more that can be done there. That's just it's just I struggled kind of.
So what are you mainly stuck on with that section at the moment?
um making it sound good, I'd say, really.
Uh-huh.
Um, because I think the melody's there. Like if I think it's just making it sound good's the thing. Because that's probably
Yeah.
the thing. That's probably the thing that's lacking the most at the moment.
So like the actual sound, you're not happy
Yeah,
with.
I reckon because even once we get the sound right, I can always play around with the melody if I want to change. Sound has to be right for me to be able to pick up on it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so let's have a look at what sounds you got. I'm not sure about the honestly. I don't know why this isn't sharing that well because it still sounds really like it's coming out of the mic. I don't know why.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm not
that's
sure if it's
so weird.
yeah. Um, but let's just try and roll with it. Let's just try and roll with it. As long as you can hear what's going on
Yeah,
clearly,
yeah,
and that's the important thing because I can help you work out what's where the issues are just in the production.
yep,
So let's first of all break it down. So if you're not happy with the sound design of this lead, we need to look at like what are the leads, what is that lead made up of? You've got 5 layers there. Um, what are each of those layers doing, and what processing they got on them. So let's just start from the top and look at that 14 serum
yeah,
layer and just have a listen to what's going on with that one.
yep.
So let's just have a listen to that one. You there, Jakey?
Just want me to solo it.
Yeah, just solo and let's have a
Awesome.
listen to it so we can hear like what's going on with it.
I'll turn it off as well. Maybe that might help.
Yeah, that's just all right. I can't hear anything.
Can't hear anything.
Oh, I can hear it now. Very
You hear it
choppy.
when I talk.
Yeah, I don't know why your mic's chopping out a lot as well.
Oh, it hasn't done that in ages.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I mean, I remember this sound.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a faint.
The ambient sound. Potentially, we
Yeah.
could like if we. This is the only thing I would say to this sound. Have you downloaded Span, bro?
Yeah.
Let's break that out because that's going to help you get a bit of an understanding on what the fuck's going on with all this stuff. So, do you remember how to set it up, or do you want me to show you?
Oh fuck! I did it the other day. I completely forgot now.
That's all right.
Um.
Okay, so first
So
thing you
hey.
want to do is you want to just
Yep.
go click on this little cog and just change the
Yep.
block size to 4096. All that's going to do is just give you a little bit more detail on the representation of the frequencies.
Yep.
Then just going to routing, mid-side stereo, because we're going to set it up so we can see the stereo signal. That's what makes
Yep.
this thing so helpful, is you can actually see it really shows you the stereo of what's going on, which is good to know because the main reason why, like, if your track's lacking direction and the leads aren't impactful, it's often because the stereo image is pretty poor, and
Yep.
it sounds good in some places. You know, when you've got the perfect ideal listening environment, which is sitting in the center of two speakers in a studio, things usually
Yep.
sound okay. But as soon as you take it out to a non-ideal situation, like, you know, you might be listening to it on a phone, or even you're walking through a shopping center or something and it's being played through one speaker on the roof. If you don't have a good, strong, centered stereo image, your whole mix is just going to fall apart. And that's usually the thing that will trip most people up. So we're going to have a look at that. So what have we got here? So I've just gone through and we're on. So that's the side. We've made that red. And we're just going to underlay that side under the mid. So now when you play this sound, we'll be able to see what the stereo image is of this sound. So not bad. It's almost a little centered. For a sound like this,
the correlation all the way.
not so much. There's no such thing as right and wrong, really. There is only like, what do you want the sound to do? For this sound in particular, would you say that this is kind of like more of an ambient sort of sound?
Yeah, it kind of like sits at the back.
Yeah, you want it to sit out the sides pretty wide. So we could even bring it more closer to zero. So it's pretty much a very stereo element. So to do that, the easiest way to control the wideness of a sound is just with an EQ8 actually.
Yep.
So if I click on here and we change this to mid-side, and what we can do is we'll actually, so clicking the M and the S switches between the mid and the side. Do you understand mid-side EQ and how that works? Yeah.
Oh, I remember vaguely. I've been using it because I've used that thing that you made up for me, and I've been trying to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was using it for a little bit, but I don't understand it fully. So how does it actually work?
All right. So mid-side EQ is pretty simple. All it does, I guess, like on your channel, you're used to seeing left and right.
Yep.
You know, the audio is broken up into a left channel and a right channel. What a mid-side EQ does is it actually splits up the frequencies in a different way. It breaks them up into the frequencies that are mono in the center and the frequencies that are left and right to the side. So what you can do is you can control the mononess of the sound by applying EQ in a different way. So we're going to make this a bit wider. So to make something wider, we want to decrease the mid. So I'm going to do a shelf here. The reason why I pull it from the back is because your 10K and above frequencies is pretty nice to have them a bit wider, you know. Doesn't really matter so much about the stereo image of those guys because they're not. Okay, we don't want a bell. I'm going to change that to a shelf because they're not. What's the word? You know, having wideness in the top end of your sound is usually the best place to have it. You obviously don't want a wide. You usually don't want a wide bass. If you do, maybe you're making some experimental stuff where like it doesn't matter about good bass, but you know, if you have a wide bass, it's not going to be a loud bass.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've done here is just applied a boost to the side. So we've put the side up about 5 dB and we've put the mid signal down about 6 dB. So let's have a look at that stereo correlation and see how that lead's sitting now. So what we've been able to do is actually just place that in a different place in the mix.
Yeah. Yeah, sweet. That's
so the reason why you want to do that, of course, is there's always a reason. The more stuff you can put out to the side, you can sort of think of your mix as like, you know, your desk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you've got all your shit in the middle of your desk, there's not much room to do any work.
Yep.
Whereas if you put a few things out to the side, you can still get a lot more on your desk and still have room to work. If that's a good analogy of thinking about why you'd want to hand stuff out to the side. So that's kind of what we're doing there. We're moving that out of the way, putting that to the side so that we can focus on having one of the stronger lead layers to be more dominant in the center. So we'll just leave that for now. Let's move on to the next layer and have a look there and see what that one's doing.
Go away.
So if you click on the channel, just so we can see what synth it is, what processing's on there.
Oh, yeah.
If you want, just drag that span onto it as well, so we can have a bit of a look at the stereo image and just the general frequencies that are being played in that channel. So it looks to me like we've monoed that a bit. So this is probably one of the main layers. Cool.
Yep, that one's...
So that one is quite a dominant layer in your sound, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's
kind of one of the topper ones.
Top one. All right. So let's think about improving that sound for a start. What processing we got on it so far? So let's open up Serum and just have a bit of a look at what's going on with that sound. So it's a super saw. We've got 2 oscillators in unison, just making a big sound. So click on effects. What have we got there? Fair bit of stuff going on. We've got some wideness going on with the phalange, hyper. There's a lot of stuff going on here.
Yeah.
Compressor, EQ, delay, and reverb. So what I'm going to get you to do is actually turn off the delay and the reverb. Yep. So let's have a listen to the sound now. Because don't worry, we're not just turning it off completely. We will add that delay and reverb back into the mix.
Hang on.
All right. Is that sounding like there's a little bit more like definition to the sound now?
Yeah, definitely. Because this one's kind of... I feel like this one here is kind of going to sit behind the one that's really at the top, like the kind of higher pitched one, if you know what I mean. Yeah,
no, definitely. So the reason why this is how I process my sounds, and I generally don't run delays and reverbs in the synth. For the reason being, what we can do is we can set up basically a bus channel where we can actually duck the delays from the lead. So we can have are you familiar with what like dry means when I'm talking about a lead?
Yeah.
So we're going to have a dry signal. A dry signal is going to be a louder signal. And then we can add that ambience in the gaps to give it a sense of space. Because obviously it is important to have reverbs and delays, because without them, then the mix is just going to sound empty. So we can get the best of both worlds with this technique. So what we might do is, just before we move on, we might actually just add a little bit of compression to the sound, because currently I think it could do with a little bit more punch.
Yep.
You know, let it come through. So if you close Serum there, close him. You can just close Span for now. So what we'll do is I'll get you to drop a glue compressor onto the end of that chain there.
Yep.
Drop that on. I'll put it before Span if you can.
Oh,
Span's kind of.
to it.
Oh, get rid of him. All right. So applying compression. What's your knowledge of compression like, Jakey?
I remember you telling. I remember you telling me. Isn't it like? Oh, no, wait, that's gating. Isn't it like? I forgot. It like holds the sound back, but also like pushes it more up. Isn't it?
Yeah,
something
pretty close. So
like
this
that,
is
pretty much.
pretty close. So the best way to think about a compressor, if you're dropping one onto a chain, this is what it's going to do. It's going to make the loud bits quieter and the quiet bits louder.
Yeah, that's
So, example of the quiet bits, I think it gives a really nice effect to, plucks and stuff. It brings up those expressive elements often.
Yep.
And it also can put dynamic back into a sound that was a bit sausagey.
Yep.
Like, too compressed, too flattened. You can use it as well to create dynamic in a track. And that's what we're going to try and do here. We're going to try and, use quite a fast attack, quite a fast release to get a little bit more pop on the sound. Because at the moment, it's just a little flat sounding. So, first of all, when applying compression, the first thing you want to do is hear the effect of the compressor. So you do that by adjusting the threshold. So if we pull the threshold, we probably want to go somewhere, get that needle moving between the 5 and the 10. It will turn down, but that's all right. We can turn it back up.
Yeah.
So get the needle moving.
Makeup, don't you?
Yeah, we do that with the makeup. So go a bit more. Yeah, about there.
Right there.
Now if we do now use the makeup to gain that, so it's the same level it was before. See how much? About there. That's about right, I think.
Yeah, I reckon.
Can you feel how there's a bit more energy and life in the seeds now?
Yep.
It's not just so flat. So now the next thing to do, once you've got your threshold applied, so the compressor's doing some work, what you can do is adjust the attack. So we want to go a bit of a faster attack because we want that to really just be letting through that initial pop. So let's try 0.3, which is...
That one, isn't it?
Yeah, you can try that one, or even try 0.1, which is a tenth of a second. How does that sound? Good?
I reckon 0.1 sounds better, yeah.
Yeah, I think 0.1 as well. That's what I was going to say. Because 0.1, you're just letting through that initial, like, pop at the start, It's only applying the compression very quickly to the rest of the sound. Only that little bit sneaking through being uncompressed. As for release, let's go for a fast release as well. Something, maybe the 0.2 there. Something like that. And cool. You can also turn on the soft clip as well if you want to just catch any peaks that might sneak through. That'll just help you with your gain staging. So this is the number one key to when you're applying compression is always have a listen to the sound after you've compressed it to make sure that it's the compression that you liked and you haven't just turned it up, or if it sounded more dynamic and nicer before. So do that really easily by just turning it on and off and listening to it. Sweet. So are you a fan of that?
Brings out more in it. Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely sounding a bit more lively, I think.
Yeah. It's got more of a bit of movement to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Compression's good for that. You can just inject a bit of energy into the sound. Something that's a bit lifeless. It can be used to just lift it up and, it's just bringing up it levels out the sound,
Yeah.
Brings up some of those bits that were a bit quiet before and pushes down some of those bits that may be a bit loud before and just gives you a better sound. So that's an example of like the settings that you would use. I don't know if you want to save those settings, but
I
those
reckon I
settings
would.
there will be pretty useful for most like synths and
Yep.
fast attacking stuff. You know, stuff that has a quick like sort of attack. So maybe drums would be useful for that, and definitely
So
like
what would you call it? Just like as in what we did with the compressor. What would you call that?
I would just call it pluck settings or something. Whatever
Yeah.
it'd just be good for, yeah, it's just for fast stuff. You know, that's a pretty fast attack setting.
Yeah, just do that.
Cool. Yeah, so that one would be pretty handy for most things that you're doing. And to adjust it to the sound, obviously, depending on how loud the sound going into it will be how loud the threshold is. So really only you have to play with the threshold and the makeup gain to just
Yep.
get that where you want it.
Yep.
Cool. So that I think that's sounding a bit better. So we've
Yep.
you know, brought that sound forward a bit, applied a bit of compression to it. So generally, like when you're applying processing to a sound, these three things are what you want to do. So first of all, you do a bit of EQ, which you've done there.
Yep.
Tidy up the sound. You know, you've got some EQ here. We've put a bit of compression on there. And then the final thing you can do to just give a bit more spice to the sound is just a little bit of saturation. So if you drop the saturator a bit warmer, plug in on there, saturator a bit warmer.
Yep.
So what you can do, this is if you just go max out the dry wet and turn the output to -10. Okay, so let's have a listen.
Yeah, that's so much more to it. Like that's
Yeah, so
ridiculous.
what's going on there is we're applying some saturation, and this is what I want you to do as well. So just so you can understand why saturation is such an important part to getting like a loud sound and a powerful sound in a mix.
Yep.
If I'll turn it on and off, and I want you to look at the output volume level on that 16 Serum channel.
As in up here.
That one there, yep. So turn that saturator on and off and have a look at that and tell me what you notice.
It kind of limits it in a way.
Yeah, it is. But does it sound about the same volume, like perceived volume?
Yeah. It sounds the same.
Yeah, exactly. So what you've done there is you've got yourself a shit. Know how before we were freeing up space on the desk by putting those sounds out to the side?
Yep.
What we've done here, we've freed up a heap of space and a heap of headroom in the mix by getting that sound and putting it in a tighter package. But it's still sounding nice and dynamic, you know, because we pushed that compression up a bit and then we pulled it down into a tighter package. It's still sounding punchy. So
Yep.
that's another trick, you know. You can use saturation to free up a bit of space in the mix. So
yeah,
that's
crazy.
Yeah, so that's pretty much that there. You know, we've got that sound, you know, a bit more processed, a bit more vibe on it. So let's move on to the next sound. So if we get the next sound and get the span on there and see what's
what was that?
What's going on with that next one.
I
mean, it might actually help as well, Jake, before we move on to the next one. Let's label each of these. So instead of calling them 14 Serum, let's give them, because each of them is doing something different. So this one might be like the wide ambience.
I don't even know how to spell.
Doesn't matter.
So.
You should see the names of some of my stuff in my system. I'll spell something wrong and be like, fucking who cares? All right, so that one there, I mean, that would be like a main energy lead or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of highs on it, which is important. Generally, the more highs on a sound, the more forward it is in the mix and the more energetic it sounds.
I don't even know what that is.
That one there, I think I don't know what.
I remember, I think it's some shit.
Some shit? All right, well, let's move on to 17 Serum and have a look what's going on there. So, might get you to drop span onto that one as well so we can analyze that one and see.
I'm pretty sure that this one's like the one I want to be the main one.
This is the main body of the sound.
I'd say so.
Okay. you remember how to set up span?
Oh, yep. Let's have a look here. It was
Yep, up one.
mid side or mono?
Nah, mid to side. Click on side, change the color. I mean, you don't have to change the color. It's just that it makes it a bit
Nah.
easier.
Yeah. Is that how all it is?
Not quite. So
Oh,
got the block size there.
Yep.
I'll show you what. So see how we got mid.
Yep.
So now this is the side mode,
Oh, okay. Yep.
and what we want to do is we want to put the underlay.
Oh, the other way around.
I think. Wait, what color? I'm super confused now. Doesn't really give you much feedback on which is it. Are we on the mid mode now or the side mode?
That'd be. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Like, are you clicking to go to side or are you on side?
Yeah. No, it should be pretty easy to work out. So, let's just go with that red there, and then that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go. Then yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. We're good. That was just like
You got caught out there. They caught you out.
a little. All right, sweet. So let's have a look at this sound here and get a bit of an understanding of like what it's doing in the mix.
Jeez. Yep.
All right, so if this is your main sound, this is why we might be seeing some issues here.
Yeah.
What can you notice from looking at that the correlation meter on that sound?
It's fucking just centered, not moving.
It's pretty centered, isn't it? It's not really like gonna translate very well on a just for the stereo compatibility of this sound. Nothing wrong with that, but if you wanted this to be the main sound, it's not going to be the main sound.
Yeah.
It could be a gritty ambience to the sound. So in that case, let's actually do that. Let's make this a sort of a super wide version of that mid lead.
Yeah. All right.
I think that would be the way to go because processing wise, I don't think this is the main lead, to be honest. I remember us making this, and I think this is just this is an ambience sound.
Let's check that. I'm gonna check that one below.
Where? That bottom one sounds probably the most. Let's just do one at a time.
That's all good.
Because they're all doing something. We just mix them a bit better. Okay, so 17 serum here. This one here is just kind of like adding to the stereo wideness of. It's almost like some parallel processing on the energy lead. So what we want to do is, accentuate it. If it's wide, let's make it even wider. So what plugins have you got here?
I got all of these.
Serum Effects.
If it helps.
Could use that. What's Model E?
Which one?
Model E?
That one. I got no idea, actually.
Have a look.
What? Oh, wide lead. There you go. Oh, wait, no, that's what it's called. All this. I think it's a freed one.
Free synth.
Yes.
All right. Oh, well, let's just close that. I thought it might have been a plug-in. Oh, wait. Serum's gone. Control Z. Control Z.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, so isotope, fab filter, dimension expander, camel crusher. Let's look at the dimension expander because that sounds to me like a stereo widening thing.
It's one of these. I don't know. It's another free thing.
Is that Xfer thing? Nextfer thing? It's got a chicken on it.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So this is what does it say about it on that thing? It said something there. I can't even read that. What the fuck does that say?
Fucking hell.
It just says who made it. Just says who made it. All right, so I have a feeling this might be a stereo widening thing. So let's have a play around with this on the end of the chain. Let's put it before span so we can see the effect it has on the audio.
Yep.
And look, I'll just play it, man. Just play it in solo first so we can really hear what it's doing to the sound. And yeah, it is in solo. Yeah, cool. Let's Yeah, crank it up. Crank up the dry wet. Make it full wet, and play around with the size. What is it doing?
It's kind of. Hang on, let me see something first. It's kind of.
Can't really hear any difference on my end.
It's kind of pushing it. I don't know if it's pushing it too much or not. It's kind of crushing it a little bit.
Yeah, do you like the sound of it or not?
Um, it's not. It's not. It's not too bad. It kind of just has a bit of a too much grit to it. Like you kind of.
Too gritty.
But
Let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of it because we wanted just quite a simple.
Yeah.
Widening thing here. All right. Well, let's just go back to let's drop a new EQA after that compressor, and see if you can remember how to do that mid-side EQ technique to widen it up. So if you change it to mid-side, yep, and then change it from mid to side mode, and then apply a shelf. Yep, and just you want to increase the wideness, so increase the volume with that one.
Wasn't it? So like.
Yep, that's the one, bro. That's it.
About that?
Yeah, and you can almost pull down some of the mid as well if you wanted to sort of accentuate that effect.
Was it for the mid? It was the other way around.
If you just grab band number 1, that defaults to a shelf, so you should be able to just there you go. Cool. Let's have a look at the correlation meter and see. Cool. So it's super wide now.
Yep.
So what that's going to do is there'll be a bit of an effect, but it's nowhere near as noticeable. So just setting it back in the mix a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. That's pretty much what we wanted to do with that. Just make it less obvious so it's not interfering with our other leads, you know?
Yeah.
Cool. So let's move on to the next one. Serum.
That's nothing. All right. What was this?
Let's have a listen.
Oh, they're both playing.
All right. So this, if we get span and pop that on there, you get a bit of a sense of. Oh, if you want, you just drag and drop the span off the other channel, man. Usually what I'll do is that way you don't have to keep setting it up like 50 times.
Yep. Good idea.
Save you a bit of time there. Cool. All right, sweet. So let's have a look at what's going on this lead. So this one's a fairly main lead, right? This is fairly centered. All right, so let's go in. How similar does that sound to that other super saw? To energy lead.
Oh, it's the same noise actually.
Is it?
Yeah. It is.
So
Oh fuck! I swear I had different ones. I know I had different ones. I don't know. I think I may have. That's the different one. All right. Well, it looks like majority of them are the same noise. That's not what I wanted. I had a. I think it was this. No, hang on.
Nah, I remember you had that advanced. There was something like.
Yeah. It was this one.
Alpha Centauri. That's the one. Yeah, that sounds a bit better. Let's roll with that. Okay, so first off, let's set up our reverb bus on this particular synth, because this is going to be the main sound, correct?
Yep.
Because I remember you said this one was the one I like the most. So,
yeah.
All right, let's first of all turn off our reverbs and delays on this. Yeah, get rid of them. All right, so that should be just a little bit cleaner. little bit better
Yep.
signal for us to apply some processing to. So, is there any extra? Wait,
I had that on up here.
what sound is that? Oh, that's
I had it on the group.
right. Yeah,
I think I did that myself.
yeah. No, just take that filter off as well, man, because that's probably a little bit choking the lead. To be honest, probably a little bit too much. Okay, so we got a nice clean signal here. Let's go in there and do a bit of processing to it, quite similar to that other lead we did. So what we'll do is we'll start off with a bit of compression on this.
You do it.
Yeah, drop that one that you made up. The glue.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's pretty similar sound, right? We should be able to just reuse those settings and just tweak it.
Where does it sit?
Didn't
I'm just gonna grab it. Yeah,
copy paste it off.
It's that one.
Why is that an in channel now? Did you accidentally press that?
Must have.
Let's change it to auto. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So let's have a listen to how if that compression's sort of just given it a bit more. Yeah. Nice. That's what we want.
Yep. Sounds good.
Cool. Should we add a bit of saturation to this sound as well?
Yeah, I reckon. It worked wonders with the other ones.
Worked well for the other one.
Same one?
Yeah, I reckon you probably get away with that. Dropping that on and cool. Nice. So Jay, this is another benefit of applying this saturation. Just so you have a sound in the mix that you want to be loud. Yep. Now you can turn it up. So you can turn the sound up, say 5 or 6 dB, and it's still going to be the same level as it was before. So we can make it really forward in the mix.
Yeah, that's so weird. It's not even near.
Nah, it's less volume than before.
Yeah, that's sick.
Cool. All right, beauty. So what we want to do, though, is we want to add a bit of ambience back to that sound because it is a main lead and we do want it to sound a bit bigger. But we can do a few little tricks to make it sound good. So what we'll get you to do is create a channel underneath. Oh, sorry, not a MIDI channel, audio channel.
Yep, all good.
Yep, just get rid of the MIDI one. Cool. Delete him. Beautiful. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this up as our reverb bus for this. So what I'll get you to do is actually I'll jump on the controls here and explain it to you, and then you can do the next one. So all right. So what we want to do here is we want to change that external in to 18 serum. So what that's going to do is it's going to feed the signal from that channel into this channel.
Yep.
Make that an in. So that in means it's taking in volume from that channel there. That's all that's saying.
Yep. Beautiful.
Okay, so what we'll do is grab the reverb. Just drop that one on there. Change it from echo to high, and trust me, there's a huge difference.
All right.
When you do that on Ableton, there's a big difference. So change that to 100%.
Yep.
And what we're going to do is we're actually going to do something here. We're going to put some filtering on the signal going into the verb.
Yep.
To tidy it up, because we only want to reverb the tonal parts of this sound, not all the other junk. And what this is going to do is give us a nice tonal reverb rather than like a washy sort of sound.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, for now that'll do. We might do a few extra bits to it, but let's have a listen. What happened there? That's
I got no idea.
just press play so we can have a listen. So can you hear the reverb there?
Yep. That works well.
Cool. All right, so what we can do, we can actually make that even more better by adding a bit of saturation onto the reverb. And what this will do is it'll just give it a nice thick sound. So we'll go this one again. It seems to do a pretty decent job.
Seems to do the trick.
Yeah, so we'll drop that on there, and this should just lift up the sound a bit.
Oh yeah, that sounds heaps better. That's ridiculous.
And then we can just adjust for a bigger sound.
Yeah, that's sick.
Just crank up the decay time.
Yeah.
So what you've got, the reason why that's such an effective like chain is number one, now we're able to like sonically separate the reverb from the actual source signal, and we can do even more interesting stuff. So now we have full control over where that reverb sits in the mix. So if we wanted to make this reverb really stereo, which is generally how I think reverbs sound the best, the more you can sonically separate your reverbs from your source signal or your dry lead, the better it's going to sound in the mix. And the more wider you can make it sound before you get to that point of like drowning in reverb and it just sounds like junk. So you can get a super wide reverb and a super spacious sound without interfering with the clarity of the actual signal in the center. So we can do that by just doing some mid-side EQ. So we're gonna push down the mid, bit more subtle on this one, maybe like 3 dBs. Something like that. And what that's going to do is just further widen our reverb signal. So have a listen to that, see what you think.
Beautiful. I reckon that works wonders. Sounds brilliant.
Not bad, is it? And then the final
No,
thing
cute.
you can do to just tidy that sound up is just a little bit of cleaning up. You can see there's a bit of rumble, and that's mainly introduced from the reverb being saturated. You know, we want to just, and usually I find that pulling it back just to about 100 is enough. You just want to remove the rumble. You don't want to remove any of the thickness that is being added to the sound, because then you run into something sounding thin and tinny.
Yep.
So yeah, have a listen to that, and that should be a pretty good little reverb chain.
Genius.
So there you go. That there will be, you know, you can do basically, this is what I'd recommend doing, Jakey. Just doing this.
Grouping it.
Let me. I don't think it'll let me. Just do a group on those. If you group them. Yeah, and just click on that little savey thing on the group, and just give that a name. Call it like, you know, your reverb, main lead reverb bus or bus chain or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll work for most things when you set up a reverb.
Yeah.
So the next thing you can actually do to increase even more the thickness of that sound is we put in a gated delay on it.
Yep.
So what I'll get you to do is create another audio channel.
Just below it.
Yep. And we'll route that one exactly the same. So that one's going to be input from 18 Serum. Oh, sorry. Almost. So the one down the bottom is where you're sending the audio. The one up the top is where it's coming from.
So
what you want to do is, so that one goes to the break synth.
Oh, yeah.
At the top of your group. Yeah.
Yeah, this one down here.
Wait. No, sorry. So see how we got two things here, the bottom and the top. So we
Yep.
want that one to go to the break synth, which
Okay, gotcha.
is the top of the group. And we want
Yep.
it to come in from 18 serum.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
It's a little bit confusing at first, but once you get your head around all the routing
yeah,
stuff, it's pretty
that's good.
simple.
That's all?
Yep. So we've got input. So now what's happening is that's going to be receiving the signal from that channel there. So what we want to do is want to set up a gated delay. So first thing we'll do is drop the Ableton delay onto that channel. Yeah, drop him on there.
Doesn't want to drop for some reason.
Sometimes it's a bit weird.
No?
Oh, that's for some reason. If you just go to audio effects.
Yeah, it's in the library.
Yeah. Yep, so that should be
go.
cool. All right, so we want to make this 100% dry wet.
Yep.
And let's make this a quarter beat delay. So click on the 4. You can experiment with this and unlink them and do one.
Which one?
So see how you got left, right sync? Yeah. So 4 basically just means it'll be on the beat. So sort of delay like that. You can experiment around with different combinations, and you can actually do a different one on the left or the right, and put a ping pong in there. But just for this will be the simplest thing you can set up. So we've got a delay here. So just have a listen to that. I just want you to have a listen to that and see how that's sounding.
Mumbo jumbo.
That's sounding pretty heckers.
Yeah.
Pretty heckers. So we can what we want to do is we want that delay to duck down when the source signal's playing and only fill up the gaps.
Yep.
Right. So if we go get a compressor and just drop the standard Ableton compressor onto that channel.
In front of it, or
yeah, and we're going to set this up as a side chain. So if you click that little down arrow.
This one here.
Oh no, you want to put it. You'll put it after
behind.
the delay. Yep.
Yep.
We want it to compress the delay. So side chain audio from that same 18 channel. Yep. And now what we want to do is we want to just adjust some of these values here. So we'll pull. Let's just start by pulling the threshold down and pulling it down until you start to hear the effect of the side chain.
Wait, which one? Sorry.
Threshold.
Where's that?
It's the slider. It's this little slider.
Oh, yep.
Gain bar, yeah.
You want it in the gaps, do you?
Yeah, you want it to just fill up the gap. So as you find around -30 to -40 is usually quite good. So then it totally takes it out when the notes play. Try -40.
Yeah.
Something like that. Cool.
Yeah, I'd say about that.
Yeah, we can do it. And now what we can do is we can actually do a little bit more to it. So we'll do the same thing with the EQ before the delay and like filter that sound so we're not delaying like all the highs.
Yep.
And that'll just sit it back in a different space to the main leads. It won't try and, at the moment, it's sounding, almost like a beat repeat because it's not dulling the sound.
Wait, so you want to EQ?
Yeah, EQ8, and that's at the start of the chain. Yeah.
Yep.
And a pretty similar curve that I did on the reverb. So you want to roll off the highs and roll off the lows.
As in mid-side, or was it just normal?
No, not mid-side, just normal EQ here.
So what'd you
So
do?
you want to have a look at the other one if you want.
Which one? Is
the one at the start. The one at the start.
That one there.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do.
About that,
yeah, something like that. Let's have a listen, see what you think.
think it works wonders.
Yeah, so there you go. That's pretty much. I mean, and then you can look to do that same sort of widening on it if you wanted to, just to sit it in a different space and push it out to the sides in your mix just with a mid-side EQ, and you just drop that on the end of the chain.
Just throw them in. Beautiful. Wait, what else did you say? Sorry.
I mean, if you wanted to, you could just widen it up a little bit.
Yeah. So add another EQ at the end. Or...
Yeah, another EQ at the end. Just and make this one a mid-side EQ.
Yep, and just do the same thing.
Yeah, that's it, man. Get your mid. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, push your mid down and push your side up. About that much. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that'll do. And that should just like a subtle thing, but it'll just set it back a little bit in the mix. All right, so let's have a listen to how it all's coming together and see if it's, this lead's sort of punching through a bit better.
Hopefully. Tough. Chords. Yeah, that's so much better. Holy shit.
Yeah, coming through a lot better on my speakers as well.
Yeah, it's a lot more, because obviously it's like the higher tone sound, and before, like, I don't know, because I remember we did stuff to it, but I think I'd try to do my own stuff. I fucked it a little bit.
It's all learning, and that's why.
Yeah, I know.
You've got to experiment, but.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Sweet.
So it's just did some basic processing there, and I think with that.
That's like the main thing I just have trouble with, because it's like I know what most of the stuff does. I just don't know how to kind of utilize it to the best to make it sound good.
Yeah. So I mean, we're gonna have some pretty important stuff today, and like all that stuff could probably be applied to a lot of the other sounds in your set. So you've got those chains there, you've got that compressor there that you can look.